I'm joined by recruiting extraordinaire expert, you name it, Greg Smith, also of Hail Varsity. We are back. You probably just watched a video just yesterday where we answered one of your recruiting questions. However, not long after we recorded that video, Nebraska got its fourth commitment of the 2022 class, a quarterback. Greg, let's just start. What can you tell us about this commit? And I'll ask you some questions after that.
All right. Richard Torres, a three-star quarterback out of Texas. He's about 6'6", 210 pounds. He was is still really under the radar as a recruit, especially as a quarterback from a state like Texas, that it's not like it's, no offense to Idaho, but that it's Idaho and like people don't go scout there, right? Like, and so
we still love you, Idaho.
Yeah, we still love you. I don't know how Idaho got thrown under the
Poor
bus there.
Idaho.
Poor Idaho. And so, but I think that he's an example, though, and his recruitment is an example of what happened over the last year because of the pandemic. So he wasn't able during his junior year to kind of get out to any of these showcases or camps or combines or anything like that. And there are tons of them for quarterbacks, right? And so because he didn't get to go and do any of that, no one really knew about him. And when you have a guy that's that size and that has that big of an arm, it's hard to stay under the radar, but he managed to do it. And now he's in the Husker class.
And like we know, Scott Frost, Mario Verduzco, they typically like to take one quarterback per class. So Richard Torres, he is the guy, unless something were to happen and he decommits. But it seems, at least for now, he's pretty strong on his commitment to Nebraska. For somebody who is maybe unfamiliar with him, I think, he probably came onto a lot of fans' radars at the Friday Night Lights camp that he was at, and over the weekend where he was able to take that official visit. It was an official visit, wasn't it?
Yes.
So knowing, I'm still not used to official visits. After the last year, nothing feels quote unquote normal. But what do fans need to know about him? I know a neighbor of mine, so if he's watching this, here's the answer, hopefully, to his question. Is he a passer? Is he a runner? Is he a little bit of both? I know the answer because I've read what you've written. But give us a little insider info on what people need to know about Richard Torres.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I would describe him as a passer first that can run the ball. And talking to his high school coach, they like to keep him in the pocket and don't necessarily utilize his running ability, though he has it. He's an athletic kid. He plays multiple sports. He's a point guard in basketball, so he can move. But I would definitely describe him as a passer first before a runner, which is a little bit of a shift. But I think that Henrik Harburg is someone that you might describe as that as well. So the last two quarterbacks that Nebraska has taken have both been similar in that way, and they both have very similar size as well. And he's also a kid. I think another big thing to know about him is that he's a kid, and if you've seen the photos from Friday Night Lights that are up on hailvarsity.com, he's very thin at this point. And part of that is his coach says, is that he wasn't able to ever weight train. Because he plays sports basically year round, he doesn't have dedicated lifting time. So once he gets with Dave Ellis, Zach Duval at Nebraska, I expect him to put on quite a bit of weight and look like a totally different quarterback than what we saw a couple of Fridays ago.
And I mean, he has the stature to put on weight. If anyone is curious, he is 6'6". So when you see the photo that was taken of him next to Adrian Martinez and Scott Frost, he is tall. It's not like he's towering over either. Adrian is obviously taller than Scott Frost, but Richard Torres is by far the tallest of the three of them, and he is 6'6", so he's going to have a really good view of the field, which I think is something that benefits any team. But I think Nebraska fans have also wanted a taller quarterback, so a lot of good potential there with just his height, but that height is also going to allow him to put on that weight where it's not just bulk for the sake of bulk. It'll be good weight that they're able to put on for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will help in a number of ways, including that, in the Big Ten, like no matter what your quarterback is going to get hit, you play a lot of good defenses. And so you just need that size to be able to withstand those hits down the road too.
And he did not just make this decision only seeing Nebraska. I do want you to tell all of those watching a little bit about this, because I think sometimes it can be a concern if somebody commits too quickly, commits without maybe seeing other programs, because then that is typically what leads, I think, to decommitments down the road, is they haven't necessarily seen what else is out there. But he has taken, he basically did the like visit circuit very quickly, but he did go see other programs to really confirm that Nebraska was it for him.
Yeah, within the span of these last 2 weeks, so he took the official visit to Nebraska, he took an unofficial visit to TCU, he did an unofficial and a camp at SMU, and then he took an official visit to Kansas State just this past weekend. It was really down between Nebraska and Kansas State. I think both of those staffs had identified him from his film a little bit earlier than some others. And there were other programs that were jockeying to try to come in late. But he definitely still did his diligence and went and saw multiple schools. And I think that is a point well taken. I think that people do get nervous about guys not, like, on one hand, you want guys to commit quickly, but on the other hand, it really benefits everyone if guys are able to go and see some other places as well, because that really confirms and reaffirms that what they thought they saw in Nebraska was exactly what they thought. And that's what happened with him. Like, Torres really loved what he found at Nebraska. And it's always a big deal when you get your quarterback in the class, because that can help you recruit other positions as well.
And Nebraska also did its due diligence with him in addition to all of the film that they watched. The Huskers didn't just have him on campus. Mario Verduzco actually went to that SMU mega camp, which if you read Greg's commitment story after this first came out, you would be aware of. So Nebraska did its due diligence, I think, especially after a year where they did not get to see Harburg throw in person until he was on campus. So you're kind of crossing your fingers that the person you're seeing on film matches the person who shows up on campus. I think they have a better understanding of who Torres is at this point, because they have seen him on campus, they have seen him away from campus, and they've of course seen the film. So at this point, I think they know what they're getting, which is a quarterback who, as a junior, threw for 1,100 yards and 18 touchdowns. He added 276 yards on the ground, but before you go, yikes, that doesn't feel like a lot maybe over a full season. Remember that he is at a high school that typically would prefer he's passing and not running, which is good, because that is also what Nebraska wants from its quarterbacks. They do not want the quarterback as a running back. They want the quarterback to run when necessary, but not all the time. So he really fits, I think, the mold of what Nebraska, Scott Frost, Mario Verduzco are looking for in a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that Nebraska wants to be able to have quarterbacks that can distribute the ball to the weapons that they're bringing in. Like, they're never going to, this offense, they should never have a shortage of guys that you're excited about on the outside at wide receiver. We've seen what's happening at tight end. They continue to bring running backs in. Like, it's still unsettled, but there are a lot of options to pick from, right? That's kind of the thing in this offense, is that they should always have multiple weapons. You just need to have a quarterback that can be solid in the pocket and make those throws. And then, like you said, be a running threat when you need him to be, not necessarily when, like, to have to rely on that, as they have had to do for the last couple of years as things kind of get off of shaky ground with the offense.
I will say, if anyone is looking for a more in-depth look at Richard Torres and maybe what you need to know, you can certainly find out from somebody who knows him well, which is his high school coach. Greg had an opportunity to speak with him following the commitment. That is premium at hailvarsity.com, but I will link this in the YouTube description for you if you're interested. No matter where you're watching this, you can head to that YouTube description. But we are running a promo right now for Hail Varsity as we gear up for Father's Day, but anyone can take advantage of this deal. You can be a father of dogs, cats, a plant. It can be your mom. I don't really care. It's the gift that gives, no matter who it is for. But it is currently only $25, $24.99 for a full year, which includes 10 magazines, the football yearbook, which you will still get, and all of our premium online content. It's a heck of a deal. So we'll link that in the YouTube description so you can take advantage if you want. Otherwise, it's hailvarsity.com/fathers-day. So if you want to try to type it in on your URL, you can do that. But that was a great piece that Greg did yesterday following the commitment. So Greg, having had that chance to talk to his high school coach, knowing that there's plenty more to learn about him, what is some final things that fans should know about Richard Torres as we head into summer, knowing that Nebraska now has its 2022 quarterback squared away for that class?
Yeah, I think though the final things is that you're getting a low maintenance guy. I think that was something that his coach repeated over and over again, that he's not going to be about drama. He's going to be a guy that comes in and works hard, and that really is eager to help peer recruit for the class. I think that that's always important. I mention that all the time. Because it's very important when you're trying to build recruiting classes, is building that camaraderie. And we've seen how that's worked out in Nebraska's benefit over the last couple of years. And I think that Torres is excited to get to be able to do that as well, starting with some of the guys that were on campus with him that first official visit weekend.
And we hear from Nebraska fans all the time who want more recruiting in Texas. So here you go.
Yes.
Check done. Quarterback, Texas. It's just marking everything off all in one fell swoop. So, I mean, you can't get much better than that.
No, you can't beat that, right?
Well, if you have any other questions about Richard Torres or any other recruiting topic for that matter, you're always able to tweet at Greg Smith HV on Twitter, or at Hail Varsity also on Twitter. You can leave comments on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching this. We just want to hear from you. We know that especially with a quarterback, there's always a ton of questions. So if you have a question that wasn't answered, feel free to ask, and you might see it end up in a recruiting notebook. You could see Greg just answer it on Twitter. You never know, but we do appreciate you as always. Who knows? It seems like as we get closer to another big recruiting weekend, this 2022 class could grow pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's moving along. I think that there should still be more fireworks to come for Husker fans.
And he's not just talking about 4th of July fireworks. So very exciting. Well, thank you, Greg, so much for your time and your expertise. Everyone, make sure you check out hailvarsity.com. Take advantage of those Father's Day deals. And we'll see and talk to you soon.